Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. With global terrorism on the rise, most of the world's nations are trying to get their hands on whatever Israeli training they can find. That's why today's news came with a bit of a shock. Durham, North Carolina has become the first American city to actually ban its police force from any kind of training with either Israeli police or the IDF. The motion was passed unanimously by the city council, despite outcry from local Jewish groups, after gaining nearly 1,400 signatures from the Durham population. Activist groups, including the Jewish Voice for Peace, united under the banner Demilitarize from Durham to Palestine to rally support for the proposal. While critics say the ban is anti-Semitic because it singles out Israel, the council's decision called out the militarized style of Israeli army and police tactics, accusing those tactics of harming both Palestinians and Jews of color. The statement specifies that the, quote, tactics of extrajudicial killing, excessive force, racial profiling, and repression of social justice movements, end quote, used by Israeli forces would only help the police terrorize black and brown communities here in the U.S. While police departments across the U.S. have indeed come under intense scrutiny lately for alleged racism and abuse of power, even Durham's former police chief believes that Israeli training has nothing to do with militarization. Former Chief Jose Lopez actually underwent a week-long training session with Israeli PD some years ago, and according to him, the training was only about leadership, learning about terrorism, and how to manage mass casualty situations. In the latest update to the case of jailed Palestinian teen Tamimi, Jewish Home Party Knesset member Bezalel Smotrich is pouring gas on the fire. After journalist Inoon Magal reposted the viral video that landed Tamimi in jail onto Twitter, Smotrich responded, writing, "In my opinion, she should have gotten a bullet, at least in the kneecap. That would have put her under house arrest for the rest of her life." Magal captioned the video, writing that he was rewatching the video, which was making him, quote, "so glad that Tamimi is still in jail. Sometimes it's good that the mills of justice grind slowly," end quote. But many are now calling out Smotrich for what is believed to be a rise in incitement to violence from the far right. Meretz MK Michal Rosen responded on Twitter calling Smotrich a thug and an inciter. She countered him, saying that he should be ashamed and asking, quote, "should the Hilltop youth from Samaria who threw stones at IDF soldiers last week also have been shot? Oh, I forgot, the law is different for enemies," end quote. Tamimi, along with several relatives of hers, was arrested in December after being filmed slapping an IDF soldier in the West Bank. She was sentenced to $1,400 in fines and 8 months in prison after taking a plea bargain. She and many in her family have often been involved in protests against Israel in the past, many of which have turned violent. Ahed Tamimi's aunt Alam, for example, whom Ahed has called a hero, planned and helped carry out the 2001 Sbarro pizzeria bombing in Jerusalem. 15 people, including 7 children and a pregnant woman, were murdered in that attack. Early Monday morning, 7 people have been arrested with an additional 3 detained on suspicion of scheming to defraud insurance agencies in Israel out of hundreds of millions of shekels. Police are reporting that roughly 100 people total will be questioned in connection to the plan, which involved staging fake car accidents to collect on the insurance. According to reports, at least 100 anti-fraud police officers took part in the months-long undercover sting operation that foiled the scheme. During the sting operation, police discovered that many individuals, all from northern Israel, targeted the Phoenix and Ayalon insurance companies by deliberately damaging vehicles to the point that they were unfit to drive. Forklifts and many vehicles used in the scam were also confiscated, and the arrested suspects have been brought to the Rishon LeZion Magistrates Court for hearings. Malaysian police have just released composite sketches of the suspected assassins of a top Hamas engineer who was in the country. Both the victim's family and Hamas have accused Israel's Mossad agency of carrying out the killing, but Israel, as per policy, continues to remain mum on the charges. Malaysia's Police Inspector General Mohammed Fuzi Harun has announced that the suspects are believed to be of Middle Eastern or possibly Western descent, and these sketches were made from several eyewitness descriptions. 35-year-old Fadi Mohammed Al-Bach was shot in a drive-by shooting Saturday morning while walking to his local mosque for daily prayer. Al-Bach is a well-known and high-ranking engineer for the terror group Hamas, and he had even recently published a breakthrough in advanced drone technology, fueling speculation that Israel may indeed be behind the killing. Israel obviously wouldn't want advanced drone tech finding its way into the hands of terrorists back in Gaza. Despite neither confirming nor denying accusations of the assassination, however, Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman has asked Egypt to block Al-Bach's body from returning to his family in Gaza for burial. At this time, Hamas has refused to negotiate the release of bodies of at least 2 fallen IDF soldiers, as well as confirm the whereabouts of 2 mentally ill Israelis who willingly crossed into the Strip several years ago. Malaysian police are now continuing to investigate evidence recovered from the scene of the killing. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.